Carl Jung was sitting right here next to me, and I would ask him, "Hey Carl, how do you do shadow work? What is your method?" This is what he would say. So he would tell me to find a quiet place in my house so I can lay down here at my sofa, but not really lay down because I can fall asleep. So I can be reclined, close my eyes, take some deep breaths, and slowly relax my body until I feel heavy and half asleep, half awake, and wait for my subconscious to give me something substantial so I could focus on. This is called active imagination. It's the method that Carl Jung used in order to analyze his own subconscious. But what he didn't say, what he didn't mention, is that most of us, the ones who are not trained psychologists, we can't really do it, because if we do it, we just keep ourselves stuck in our everyday, normal, waking consciousness. We can't really go deep. We can't really self-hypnotize ourselves because our ego and our senses are focusing on the external things, and the ego is trying to protect ourselves from seeing things that are uncomfortable and maybe triggering. And this is why it's very hard for us to remember and to go deep into the subconscious, into the shadow, without proper training. But there's another method that he didn't mention that can really reverse everything and get you down faster to touch and meet your shadow. I call this method subconscious journeying, but it has many different names. And in many different cultures, they use a similar method, which is taking a fast drum beat or percussion, which we usually call going into trance. So if you think of African tribes or tribes in Siberia, they use fast rhythmic rhythm in order to get this person in the center, the healer maybe, or the shaman or the medicine man, to go into trance. But this technique is not saved only for those specific individuals. We can use the same technique, the fast drumming, in order to get our brainwaves from beta, from the normal waking state of awareness, into alpha, which is the state between being awake and being asleep, like daydreaming. When we get to that state by regulating our breath, regulating our nervous system, calming down, feeling heavier, closing our eyes, breathing slowly, we can actually access the subconscious deeper than we would normally without falling asleep. And this is where it gets super interesting, because when you prompt your subconscious, when you ask a question and you come with this specific intention of show me, guide me, how do I do this, what do I need to know, all these open-ended questions, your subconscious starts to work. And it's like a journey. You can sometimes actually feel like you're moving past some items, some portals, some objects, until you reach a certain scene. And in that scene, you see the person, you see the situation, and you start to gather meaning of what you see, what you hear, what you interact with. That's even more interesting when you actually try to scratch beneath the surface and ask questions that are deep, that are touching the shadow, the uncomfortable, sticky, icky, triggering situations. And it can be an open-ended question of, show me what I'm afraid of. Show me what is the source of my trigger. Show me what is the root cause of this pattern that I have. And it can be more specific if you already know. Show me why I'm afraid of dogs. Show me why I'm afraid of spiders. And your subconscious, if you're relaxed enough, if you're open and curious and patient enough, your subconscious would start to show you images of people that are related, of the scenes that are related, of the locations and the happening that were related to the root cause of your condition. So I can give you an example from my own personal story. I was afraid, but I wasn't sure of what. I had this tightening in my chest in certain situation where I was afraid when I sensed danger. But I wasn't sure what exactly am I sensing, why is it dangerous, and why do I have this danger radar that operates in my chest that feels so tight, and I feel like I have to run away, and this situation that I'm around is not safe. So I started with the journey. And although I thought I knew maybe what it was about, I wasn't completely sure, and I wasn't completely sure how deep it was. So when I was a child, about 5-year-old, I had to experience the first Gulf War. And missiles were shooting at above our head. And in my city, there were more missiles than other places. Now, we didn't have any shelters, and there were rumors about Saddam Hussein using chemical weapons. So we had to wear gas masks. And sometimes the sirens of missile attacks were going off in the middle of the night. So we had to wake up, put the gas mask, and wait until somebody in the radio, because it was the 90s, there was still radio and no internet, somebody on the radio told us that it's safe to go out. And one night, my parents decided that because the building might collapse if the missile hit us, because we don't have any shelter, we should sit inside the closet, the clothes closet. So if the roof collapses, it will collapse on the closet, and the closet structure might save us. And now I was 5-year-old, right? And they didn't really explain it to me as, you know, if the roof collapses, we might die, because if the missile hit us, then the debris of the roof can kill us. They just said the closet will be safer. Now the closet has partitions, and partition could only fit one person. So I had to sit in the dark on a little chair in one partition, and my mom and my baby brother had to sit in a different partition next to me, and the partition was between us. So my father, he drilled a hole between the partitions so we can actually hold hands. But still, imagine 5-year-old boy sitting with a gas mask on his face in the dark, because it was night, holding my mother's hand through this hole so I can't even see her, and the door is closed because God forbid, if something happens, all the ricochet will fly, so the door of the closet has to be closed so it doesn't hit my face. And then we would sit there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, until the guy from the radio would tell us to go out. And I remember this happened at least twice. Even though it was many, many years ago, and now I'm almost 40, I can still remember that situation. And I remembered it so vividly, so alive. I actually experienced myself back inside that closet in the dark with the gas mask on, contracted and scared for my life, without any ability to move, to exit, to run away. I had to wait out the danger. And this subconscious journey showed it to me. It showed it to me, and it was related to the symbolism that it took me and showed me this kind of maze, like the Minotaur maze in the Greek mythology. And inside the Minotaur's maze, I was there lying dead on a sarcophagus. And there was a big skeleton. So when I ask, why is it there? Why am I fearing my own death? What is this skeleton? It rewinded my whole situation in the Gulf War, and I saw it like this was danger for a 5-year-old boy. This was danger, and I felt the danger of death threat on myself. And ever since, I had this thing in my chest. Whenever I feel dangerous, alarms are ringing, the sirens are going off. And this is how I felt when I was 5-year-old, and this is how I feel until today, until I started to regulate myself and understand how to work with this fear and remind myself that I'm not in a war anymore, that I'm 40 years old, and it's pretty safe out there. So I encourage you. I know it might sound scary. It might sound scary to realize what's hiding in your shadow, but I really encourage you to go meet your shadow. And in the description and in the card above, I've linked the guided journey that I've prepared for you to meet your shadow. And find a comfortable position. Don't lay down completely so you don't fall asleep. Quiet room. Have like 15 minutes or 20 minutes for yourself. Get your headphones. Close your eyes. Breathe 3 long breaths so you can exhale slowly and relax your mind. And try to do the guided journey in the description so you can tell me how it was, What did you meet when you looked for your shadow, and what insight and what development and evolution you can derive from doing this exercise over and over again for different aspects of your shadow, different aspects of your life, whatever is triggering you, making you anxious, making you doubt yourself, feel humiliated, rejected, abandoned, or just normal fear. All these things have root causes that you can find within yourself and start working through them to relieve yourself, to develop, to grow and evolve. Please leave me a comment and let's go on the journey.